CEO Pat Garrity, the CEO of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Minnesota. We're very excited to have Pat here with us today. He came to Minnesota and Blue Cross in October of 2008. So I joked with him this morning that I always just automatically call him our new CEO, but he might be through that pretty soon because he's been here with us for a while. Pat is responsible for the strategy and operation of Blue Cross, which is the state's largest health plan, serving 2.8 million members.
So I'm the guy who gets to follow a senator, a mayor, in the introduction of what promises to be a wonderful bike sharing program. I am a planner with Dakota County. My name's Stan Patterson, but I'm here not as a planner, but just as your everyday resident in my 20s, trying to live my life in, as they mentioned, Apple Valley. And I chose the word Autocide, which is a real word, by the way. I didn't make it up. Thinking that Blue Cross A would never accept it, and B, that it gets at my point. The definition is that to kill oneself with a vehicle, which in my sort of radical opinion is exactly what we're doing as a society. We're destroying, well, I don't want to say destroying communities, but we're not helping them with the motor vehicle. So I've lived in kind of three contexts in my life. I started out in Ashton, Illinois. It's a small town, and Minneapolis and Apple Valley. And I'm going to focus on Apple Valley, but I'll touch a little bit on the other two. Starting with Ashton. As I mentioned, it's a small town, very rural. You can see the main street at the bottom there. We still have some businesses, although you do have to leave town for most things. And I actually lived outside of town, and I would sometimes bicycle in, sometimes with my parents' knowledge, sometimes not. But once I got there, it was extremely walkable. That yellow circle there is a quarter mile radius about the center of town, and that's the entire street network. So it's a very walkable place inherently. You don't have to do much to improve an environment like that. So I lived there up until I was, I think, 24, and I had a decision to make. I had decided I wanted to be a planner. And I basically had my pick of grad schools to go to. So I shopped around the country a little bit, and I fell in love with the Minneapolis-St. Paul area for the education system, which was the primary reason, the arts atmosphere, the parks, the natural resources that are within easy reach of the Twin Cities and within the Twin Cities, and the ethos of the people here. So I chose an apartment that was convenient to what I was going to be doing. It's in the Whittier neighborhood across from the Minneapolis Institute of Arts. A great place, I highly recommend. And a pretty walkable place. I mean, certainly the street grid is there. It got a score of 77 out of 100 on Walk Score, which I hope you're familiar with. It kind of ranks the destinations within easy reach of a place. And I found myself active living almost automatically. I didn't have to challenge myself to do it. I was biking to work, I was biking to school, I was biking to shops and stores. There were some issues. I had to leave my neighborhood if I wanted to go to an inexpensive big box grocery store, for example, but it worked very well. And then came a decision point. I got hired on as a planning intern at Dakota County, and then eventually got hired on full-time. And I reached another decision point of where I was going to live. Was I going to continue to commute from Minneapolis, or was I going to try to walk the talk and live closer to where I work? So now being trained as a planner, I ran the numbers, did basically a cost-benefit analysis, and I realized I could save a lot of money by entirely cutting out my commute. Just $815 exclusively in fuel. If you count in the maintenance of my vehicle and all those other kind of fuzzier math things, it's about $4,800 a year. That's about 13% of a starting planner's net income, and that's not considering disposable income. And I'm a bit of a greenie. It also eliminates 7,700 pounds of CO2 emissions each year, and 200 hours I didn't have to spend in the car. In Apple Valley, I found a place in the orange circle upper right there where I could easily walk to my cube, which is the lower left orange circle there. And the red route is my summertime route. You'll notice that I am almost entirely not on a sidewalk system because I want to go as the crow flies. During the winter, however, I can't do that. There are big snow drifts. So I have to take the more circuitous route, the blue one, to finally get to my cube. And you'll notice that I don't have a sidewalk connection here. There is zero pedestrian connectivity into my office. So I have to get on the street network. No sidewalk here either. But it works. It's so easy that it's an effort even to get on a bicycle. It's not worth it. But just last week, actually, I had a coworker stop me right about there to see if I wanted to ride to work. It's not in the culture there, if you haven't picked up on that. But it is, so it's so easy to walk to work that, and then I wasn't expecting this, but pretty soon I realized I could meet all my needs, not just employment, within easy walking or biking distance of my apartment. This actually scored better than my apartment in Whittier. It's an 80 out of 100. I'm going to go through some of the attractions that I found in Apple Valley. This is a bowling alley / bar. It's actually on my way back from work, convenient. This is a bank where I could get my business done. Best Buy, Party City, Office Max, Target, Super Target actually. Super Cuts, I could get my hair cut, so you can't always tell. Drugstore, movie theater, grocery store, another grocery store, which it's hard to tell, but they're giving away free gas. It's a slap in the face. Thrift store, post office, coffee shop and bookstore, Sam's Club, Kohl's, Menards, which you might laugh at, why would I go to Menards if I'm a pedestrian? I can't haul anything away from that. But actually,